Hi everyone. So I'm not going to keep you long, but I want to address something really quick. So I saw this video online, and pretty much this person was talking about how when they express their mental health woes to their parents respond with unhelpful things, right? And it was a thread pretty much talking about this. And parents were saying, they're saying, I'm not having a good day. So their parents said, why don't you get outside and take a walk? Or why don't you, why don't you go do something, right? Or someone saying, oh, they hate their life, and their parents responding with, well, why don't you, go do more? Or how have you thought about going to college? Have you thought about getting a job? Have you thought about things like that, right? And people are getting upset and they're shaming their parents. And this is where it's going to feel like shaming for some people. I don't see anything wrong with that. I don't see anything wrong with someone suggesting you do something to improve your quality of life. However, I understand that when you're dealing with mental health issues or you're not in the best state of mental health, a lot of times people can be, I don't want to use this word because it comes across as really negative, but people may be hypersensitive and perceive threats that are not there, right? If you're in a healthy state of mind and someone makes a suggestion, you may take it or leave it. But when you're in a negative state of mind and someone makes a suggestion, you feel like they're being unhelpful. Now, here's the thing that I want to highlight. Someone being unhelpful is different than someone intentionally being unhelpful and dismissive, okay? If someone makes a suggestion to you and they're genuinely trying to help, it's unfair for you to be angry at that person. Your parents are just giving you advice based off of what they know. You're unhappy with their life, change it. That's common sense, right? But for people who are depressed, sometimes someone hears that and they want people to coddle them or emotionally validate them. There's nothing wrong with needing emotional validation. There's nothing wrong with being coddled every once in a while. But then you literally might shame your parent if they tell you something like that. I know people who express that they're depressed, that they're anxious, they're unhappy with their lives. These are people who are adults. They don't have jobs. They're not in school. They have no friends. They don't try to get friends. They don't try to work. And they don't want to be in school. So they're adults who sit in their room all day talking about how unhappy they are. And they don't do anything to change it. I'm not saying that everyone's anxiety and depression is situational, right? Because sometimes it can be unresolved trauma. Sometimes it could be, so it could be a chemical imbalance. It could be lots of reasons why that person is feeling that way. But I just want to say this. I am someone who has struggled with mental health in the past. And I still feel like when you really struggle with poor mental health and you've gone through it or you grew up not having poor mental health, it takes a while for you to unpack and to develop healthy coping mechanisms. I feel like I'm at the place in my life now where I'm developing healthy coping mechanisms day by day and getting a lot better, so I don't struggle with those things nearly as much as I did in the past. But when I was younger, I literally had to do some of the things your parents are suggesting you to help me feel better, and it absolutely helped. It's not going to cure your depression. If you're feeling depressed, going outside and sitting in the sun for 30 minutes is not going to cure your depression, but it might, and I say this cautiously, it might for a moment help you to escape some of the rumination that is happening in your mind. It might, for just a second, help you to take your mind off of how sad you feel for yourself or how bad you feel about your life. It might just for a second, okay? And what those are called disruptions, right? And when you're constantly going through negative, you're in a negative space, you're in a negative mental health. Sometimes you do things to help you feel good so you can have a disruption in that negativity. Those things help you to develop coping skills. Having a support system is not just about having people around you who validate your feelings. That's a part of it. But having a support system is also, and which is equally as important, is about creating a space where you can heal, you can grow, you can think, right? So when it comes to mental health, it's really important that you also are doing things that help support you in your day. I'm just gonna go on an estimate here, but the people who are struggling with depression who have no livelihood, I can almost guarantee that increasing the quality of your life, such as building a community of people around you that you like, doing things that you love in your day, having a job so you have something to do, you know, having hobbies will help develop coping skills for what you're experiencing. But when you have no outlets of expression whatsoever, and then you're dealing with depression, and then the minute someone suggests that you do, and then you get angry, what that speaks to me is that you're a person who doesn't want to be helped. There are people in this world who wear their depression anxiety as a badge of honor. It's their identity. They don't know what it feels like to not be depressed, and they don't want to know what it feels like to not be depressed. There are people who live to be in negative spaces. And it might sound harsh to say that. I'm not saying everybody does, so don't go around assuming everyone's doing that. But there are people, I know people who, I've known a girl before who actually told me that she feels like her depression actually helps her to be more artistic, so she likes being depressed. Right? These things exist and this happens in this world. It's sad, but it happens, right? If you truly want to heal and you want to get better, sometimes take people up on their advice. I'm not saying all of it's going to be helpful to you, but you have to understand, right? You can't look, there's no such thing necessarily as a one cure for depression. You build a support system around you. You build things around you that support your growth. I have a relationship with God. Building my relationship with God has been key for me. And I have to keep going back to that over and over again, right? Because it wasn't like I just built my relationship and then I'm just floating on this high. Like if I don't read my Bible for multiple days or like weeks at a time, or I'm listening to more secular music or watching more negative programming, I'll notice the difference in my mental health. If I'm, I will notice the difference in my mental health if I'm not going outside as much. I'll notice the mental health of those moments where I isolate myself and I'm not speaking to people. I'll notice like, oh, okay, why am I feeling this way? And I'm like, oh, okay, like you need to probably get out and interact with some people. It's been like 3 weeks and you've been locked in your house. If I'm sleeping too much, I notice a difference in my mental health. If I'm eating poorly, I notice a difference in my mental health. Do you get what I'm saying? Right? Like all of these things play a factor in helping to heal me from my depression. I'm not looking for a one-all cure. So when someone gives you a suggestion and you're upset because it didn't cure you or tell you exactly what you wanted to hear, let me just say this. What feels the most comforting may not always be the most healing thing for you. Sometimes you're going to have to step outside of your comfort zone to heal. Sometimes you're going to do things you don't want to do. I get it. I've struggled with anxiety and depression before, and there was a period of time where it was really bad. And I had no energy but to literally, I would work, I would eat, and when I didn't do that, I would sleep. I was literally exhausted all of the time. I was in a negative mental health space. I completely understand that, right? But what helped me was I literally forced myself to get up. One thing, these are two small things I'm just going to share with you that really helped my mental health too, right? For me as a person, like I get sensory overload. I get overwhelmed. So for me, when I wake up, right? I wake up always in the morning. When I had anxiety and depression really bad, I used to like sleep in until like 1 and 2 in the afternoon on the weekends, which is a long time because I would go to bed at like 11. So I would go to bed at 11 and then sleep all like literally 12, 13 hours, like 13, 14 hours, right? And wake up and still be exhausted. And then when I'd wake up, because it's been middle of the day, I would eat a huge meal. I'd be really full so that I didn't have any energy to do anything. So I was just doing a lot of self-sabotaging behaviors because I had no coping mechanisms. So one of the things I learned was I set a time of when I'm going to wake up every single day. And every time I woke up, within that first hour, I had to shower. So I didn't do anything before I showered for the day. That has done leaps and bounds for my mental health. Just showering. Because now I felt ready to approach the day. I felt like I didn't have to get ready. I didn't have to, I'm sitting there just laying there all day, and then I need to go to Target to buy something. Now I gotta go get ready. I didn't feel like doing that. So it might take forever to do that. So I'm up and I'm ready for the day. I'm ready, I'm up and I'm at 'em, right? Number 2, sensory overload. Cleaning my space. I have to clean up a lot because things get, messed up all the time. Like my room is a mess right now. My whole house is a mess, but I'm getting prepared for Thanksgiving. Check out my vlog that's going to come out that soon. But I'm getting ready for Thanksgiving. My house is a mess. I haven't been able to go to sleep. I've been going to sleep at like 3 o'clock in the morning. It's literally because I'm staring at all the clutter, right? So one of the things I'm learning, the self-sabotaging behavior I have, is like I was staring at the problem instead of solving it. So I put a checklist of all the things I need to get done in the day. And so that's helping me to get things done throughout the day so that I can improve my mental health. And as I've cleared up different spaces, I've noticed my mental health is improving. I will gravitate towards the room that's most clean in my house because that's what helps me feel more at peace. It's a system of things around me that help support my mental health. And yes, there are moments where I could sit there and say, oh, I'm not feeling good today. I'm having a bad day, and lock myself up. But there are moments that I was feeling so depressed in the past that I literally ran outside of my apartment or wherever I was and just went outside just to be like, I need to breathe, right? You're going to have to do that sometimes. Take them up on that advice. Don't always assume the person's being dismissive because they're not telling you what you want to hear. Maybe that person is telling you something they know for themselves has helped them. Maybe they too have struggled, and even if they haven't expressed it, and getting up and getting out and getting some sun, or eating ice cream, getting ice cream and taking a walk, or, maybe those things have helped them. Maybe those things have contributed to the positivity that has helped to improve their mental health. I'm saying this because so many people in my generation want to be the victim. So many people sit there complaining about things all day, and they want to stay in that space. And I'm saying it because you don't have to. And that, two, stop attacking people because they're not telling you what you want to hear. Their intentions are pure. They mean well. And if you're not happy with what people are telling you, tell them what you need. Say, hey, I know that you're trying to be helpful to me right now, but the most helpful thing that I would need is a hug. Sometimes I wish I would have said that. The most helpful thing I need from you right now is, sorry, I just got a notification. The most helpful thing I need from you right now is just to check on me sometimes and say, hey, how you doing? I need you to just sit with me and watch the show, right? Don't talk to me. Don't feel the need to talk to me. Just sit there and watch TV with me. I need you to just sit there with me for a moment. I need you to just check on me every once in a while, right? I need you to just grab a meal with me. Just go out to eat with me, right? I just need to talk to somebody right now. Tell people what you need if you have mental health struggles, but don't assume people are supposed to read your mind and know how you're supposed to feel. And don't assume because someone's not telling you what you don't want to hear that they're being dismissive. As a person who has struggled, when I see those things, I see that those things actually can help you. Improving your quality of life helps you. It helps you to cope with the mental health struggles you have. I just want you to know that. I'm not saying it cures it. But your job, if you're struggling with mental health, is to develop coping mechanisms. If you're doing self-sabotaging behaviors, it's because you don't have coping mechanisms. If you're overeating because you don't have coping mechanisms. If you're not cleaning up and your space is cluttered, you don't have coping mechanisms. If you feel constantly unorganized and tired, you don't have coping mechanisms. It could be other things too, right? Like if this is considering you don't have a chemical imbalance. This is also considering things like you're not in a completely toxic, abusive situation or environment, right? So even if you are having those things, any doctor or psychologist is going to tell you you still have to develop coping mechanisms and a system around you to help you with the things that you're going through. It's not going to cure it and solve the problem, but they're definitely going to help. And every little step that you take to help is going to better your mental health. Hopefully that makes sense and where I'm coming from with this whole thing. But yes, for those struggling, I sympathize with you. I empathize with you. I'm praying for you. And I'm hoping that you get the support that you need so that you can overcome this. Because I believe that anybody can heal from depression and anxiety. There's no such thing as an overnight cure. It's no such thing as just a cure. When you have anxiety and depression, you have to heal. And I pray that you find what you need to heal in the healthiest way possible. I love you. Thank you for watching this video. I'll talk to you later.